The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live from the radio studios of WFAY and WMRV, Andrew Lonis Media presents Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to another edition of The Carolina Cabinet.
Please take a moment to like, share, or follow us on Facebook. You can also find us at thecarolinacabinet.com. Just type in The Carolina Cabinet if you find us on those socials. Yeah.
Because, don't forget the you got to have that in there.
What happens if you don't. And so look, don't go far. We'll be right back with some good news from Pastor Josh. I didn't do it. The screen died. The screen. All right, Pastor Josh, we're going to get you in here, and let's just have a good day. How about that? All right, so here we go.
Since 2012, Joshua Goodman has been the senior pastor at the Cliffdale Christian Center, a dynamic church and ministry located in West Fayetteville. Join our friend Pastor Goodman for a podcast or a live sermon in person at 6427 Cliffdale Road. Now for today's good news. Here is Joshua Goodman.
Well, good morning from the All-American City. This is Pastor Josh, and have I got some good news for you in a time when so many want to unpack, talk about, discuss all the problems, circumstances, and situations, all the negative junk. I'm here to give you some good news. Jesus in Matthew chapter 25 tells the story of a wealthy man who is going on a very long trip. In preparation for this trip, he brings 3 of his workers together and gives them a small portion of his wealth to oversee while he's gone. To one worker, he gives 5 talents. To another, he gives 2 talents. And to the last one, he gives 1 talent. Now, there is quite a bit of debate about how much this is equal to in our currency. The very bottom end would say that each talent was worth about $1 million, while the top end would say that a talent was worth between $3 and $5 million. Like I said, this guy was very wealthy. I'll tell you what, for today's use, we're going to use the lowest estimate. We're going to stay very conservative. As you know, we are a conservative radio show. So this would mean that one was given $5 million, another was given $2 million, and the last one, the least, was given $1 million. Like I said, these are the lowest estimates, and this guy was very, very wealthy. 2 very important things to remember before continuing the story. Number 1, the wealthy man left them this wealth with expectations. As it says, he gave to each one according to their own ability. The second thing to remember is that this money, it never really belonged to the employees. It was given to them to really just steward over, to watch over. The story continues that the wealthy man stayed away for a very long time, but the employee that had been given 5 talents or $5 million immediately went out and earned 5 more talents or $5 more million. Again, these are the low ball at $10 million this guy now has. The employee that was given 2, immediately he goes out and he earns 2 more, again, equivalent to $2 million. The employee with 1, my man went back and buried that $1 million in his backyard for safekeeping. When the wealthy man came in, when he returned from his journeys, he settled accounts, first with the one who had 5 talents, who brought that 5 talents or $5 million plus 5 talents more. To the one who he gave 2, he brought that 2 talents plus 2 talents more or $2 million more. These 2 were told, "Well done, my good and faithful servants. Now come and enter into your rest." The last man, can you just imagine his anxiety? He meagerly walks up and brings the master his original 1 talent. He says, "Here, master, here is the 1 talent you gave me." And the master chastises the man. He says to him, "You wicked and lazy employee, He casts him out, and he takes the 1 talent, and he gives it to the one who has 10 talents. Now, on the outside, this story might seem all about money. But, my friend, if that's the way you're looking at it, you're only looking at part of the story. You see, our Lord has given us wealth. He has given us finances. But He has also given us so much more. And He's given us things that are so much more valuable than just money. Friend, He's given you time. That's more valuable. He's given you talent. That's more valuable. He's given you resources. Listen, He has given you your every heartbeat and breath that your lungs take, and that is more valuable. These things are all ours, and our employer desires, as He invests them into us, that we would do something with them. What do I mean by that? That we would do something with our time, our talent, our resources, every heartbeat, and every breath we take. And each one is given to each of us in accordance with our ability. You have been given every beat of your heart and every breath of your lungs. You have been given it because of the ability to do great and powerful and wonderful things with it. Let's not bury what we've been given in the backyard. We are so much more than that. You are so much more than that. Now you know. So get out there and do something with what you've been given. You can do it. I have faith in you. And more importantly, God has faith in you. This is Pastor Josh, and that is your good news.
A conservative local radio talk show that you're not afraid to tell your friends about. The Carolina Cabinet, land of the free thinkers, and talk show of the brave.
And good morning and welcome back. This is the Carolina Cabinet. I'm your host, Peter Pappas, here with Josh and Semone with an E. Pemberton and Bryan.
The B-Man. We got it. Used to be we had nicknames, right?
Yeah.
Like we had Jimmy the Lake and we had Peter the Greek.
Peter the Greek. Yeah.
I'm just saying. So we got to come up with nicknames for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, Semone with an E.
Simone with
Ernest,
an E.
Semone with an E.
Yeah.
Brian needs a name.
Brian, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian can't make the cover of the cabinet.
You did. You're in the new video.
The new video. You're the new guy.
See? Yeah. Contrary to screens dropping out here a minute ago, I have 2 screens I'm looking at, and it's like one of them just disappeared. I'm like, where did
everybody go?
So, that is the joys of hosting your own show.
It is.
You are the engineer.
Yep, you make it work.
So I do eventually.
You're our technical engineer, producer, developer, director.
Well, it appeals to my nerdy side. What can I say? So okay. So Josh, I have to ask you. So the talent was that the talents you spoke of? Is that the $1 million?
Yes. Okay. So talents were a monetary use.
Okay.
And so what I was reading on the internet, again, this is why it is so.
Wait,
debated.
Pastor, you get your stuff from the internet too?
I do. And so what they say is that 1 talent was equal to 20 years labor.
Okay.
Wow.
And so that's how they come up with, and then you got to go into, 20 years labor for one might not be the same for the other. Mm-hmm. And so that's why you get the different amounts of between $1 and $5 million.
So I didn't mishear talent being a unit of
a talent is not a gift that you've been given, like I have the talent of playing a guitar. Right. A talent was a unit of money.
Currency.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a great one. I actually really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But basically God says, do with your talent the best you can do.
Do something with
Get
what
off
you've
the
been
couch.
Given. Yep,
exactly. Couch to 5K.
Invest your money.
Which I did today, Peter. You'd be so
did?
proud of me.
I'm very proud of you.
My shadow darkened the halls of the gym.
Oh, whoa, just to cancel?
No.
That's Semone.
I actually went in.
I actually go to the gym
now.
I go now, thank you very much. You haven't seen me this year. What?
Why do you go?
Okay, where?
You don't need to go.
Oh my gosh, he's still the same Peter from last year.
He hasn't quit.
Yeah.
Why would I change?
I don't
want to leave you confused and wondering
as to who you are.
So, no, everybody. You're getting to know.
Yeah.
Did you not see the beach pictures? I mean, that's
she don't
a
need
work of art.
nobody.
She has to take care of that work of art.
Oh my gosh,
she does. Yeah. So
she's got to do the best with the talents she's been given.
There you go.
Well, we all have different talents in the room. We have a lot to jump in and talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I did some homework before this show.
The nerdy side coming out again.
It did. So we got Cumberland County Schools. We got City of Fayetteville voting against reviewing the police. We have City of Fayetteville lobbying the federal government. So we got a lot, and we got these, little fires out in California to talk about.
Yeah, which, by the way, my son lives in L.A.
Okay.
And he was on notice to be evacuated.
Wow.
And he's still on notice because they're expecting the winds to pick back up. So thoughts and prayers, everybody, for Anthony, my son.
Oh, God willing.
You know?
God willing. Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, they're out of control out there.
Well,
They have a mess.
Hot mess.
A mess that really seems like it could have been prevented.
Yeah. I agree.
So I'm getting the feeling maybe we need to jump in and talk about those first.
Let's go.
What do you think? Okay,
I mean, we start talking about dry hydrants and stuff.
One of my favorite words ever was DEI.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years. And here I think that these fires are proof that DEI can be deadly.
Yeah.
For real.
Yep.
I mean, the L.A. Fire Department, their hiring focus shifted from who's the best person to pull my big old butt out of a fire to we need to make sure that fireman looks
but
like
if I have to pull you out of the fire, you're in the wrong place.
That's right. You shouldn't be in the fire. That's right. Yeah. Damn,
that's the wildest comment I've ever heard.
Right?
So, so I do want to bring attention.
I didn't intend to be here, trust me.
Well, have y'all seen, there's this fire chief, Kristen Crowley is her name. And she has been publicly criticizing the mayor and the governor for ill preparedness because she says, look, we don't know anything about the fire hydrants.
Yeah.
We firemen go, and when the hydrant's there, we expect it to have water.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't. Oh, can you imagine the despair? I can't even imagine being a fireman, right?
Yeah.
You roll up to a blazing building, people running out, and you hook up to a hydrant.
You're like, oh, good, there's a fire hydrant.
Yeah, let me hook up to it. And
the funny thing about that, though, is I see our firemen all the time around here opening our hydrants.
Oh, yeah, they open them up, they drain them, they refill them. Yeah. I don't know how often they do it.
Yeah.
So
passing the buck.
So to that respect, that's what your fire marshal is supposed to do, is to be kind of inventory and where the hydrants are and what apparatus they have where, and it's their job.
I know they inventory my commercial building.
Yes, they do.
He was out.
What is it? $250 every time they inventory.
Yeah,
and I would think what's the big pond thing?
Yeah, the reservoir.
The LA River.
Yeah. I would think they notice that. Wouldn't you?
I'm just saying, but that's.
Brian, that's crazy talk, man. I don't know.
Maybe
why
they should have got some of the drones from Baltimore
Oh, Lord.
area to go down there in California.
I knew this was going to jump off today. I just knew it.
It's popping. It's popping.
All right, it's popping. So I'm going to try to play this video if I can. Semone, I guess you're right. My links don't really work.
No, I kept getting a Google.
Yeah. So
it doesn't like that at all. Okay, well, anyway, this fire chief, Kristen Crowley, might get lucky. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming. So I just like that she's outspoken and that she's been kind of like called on the carpet for being outspoken, speaking her truth.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. I mean, if you are a fire chief or whatever and you roll up to a hydrant and there's no water, I mean, again, you're expecting to find water. It's like, okay, who do I blame? But this is the kicker. Well, nobody wants to take responsibility.
And you've got people looking at
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city?
It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say, justifiably, what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job, and I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
Chief Kristen Crowley, I believe the anchors wanted to ask a question.
Yes,
had some comments.
We do, Gigi. If you could please ask her regarding the Times article that came out that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was closed to repairs and it was empty. 117 million gallons of water could have been used in this fight.
The question is about the Santa Ynez Reservoir being empty. There's been a lot of questions about that.
Sure. So my stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants. Please defer that to DWP or whomever controls that part. But I can tell you the resiliency of our firefighters, if there's no water, they're going to go find water. They're going to figure out a way to do the best they can with what they've got in a very dynamic situation.
And I know you expressed concerns that those DWP hydrants would not be inspected thoroughly because of the budget cuts.
that is something to discuss, and we're going to look into that in regard to how we can ensure there's going to be water when we need it. But in the end, I'm going to defer that to DWP and whom.
So I want to point out that, her body language during this interview was very like, oh, I don't know if I should.
Yeah,
I don't know if I should, but I think she's catch so much flack. She's like, you know what? The heck with it.
Yep.
Right.
If I'm going down, I'm taking the whole ship.
She needs to.
Right.
She needs to.
Absolutely.
Again, it's not her responsibility to make sure that a fire hydrant has water. That falls, like she said, on DWP. It's like, okay.
And if they cut, I'm not sure what budget cuts they made, but I mean, when I want my city to trim the fat, the first thing I want them to do is cut cops and police and fire.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That's
That's where I learned all this about the cops.
Yeah,
especially in LA. I mean, this is California. They are renowned for wildfires. They have them literally every year. Last time I was out there, I went through 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. And so it's not like, maybe we're going to get a hurricane this year. No, they literally have wildfires every year.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't part of the cause of these wildfires that they don't allow, what is it called? Like, not deforestation, but management of, like where they do controlled burns, smaller ones to prevent it from being a big tinderbox.
And a lot of it's too is protect a minnow. Am I correct about that?
Oh, you're talking about Donald Trump talking about the smelt.
Yeah,
I like smelts.
Yeah,
those are good little fishes.
Have you ever eaten them?
Yeah, they look like little sardines. They're cute.
Do they taste like sardines?
No, I don't know. They just taste like smelts.
No.
Because
if you're gonna go to food, I'm gonna jump right in there.
Captain Jerry's has them once in a while. It's like a special thing.
You go to Captain Jerry's.
I do.
Man, let me tell you, Captain
boys.
Jerry's old school,
Yeah.
man. Old school. Come on now.
Some of that Greek onion ring hush puppy type thing.
I know. Look, we're talking back when my mama. We're talking 30 years ago. We used to go there on Sunday afternoons.
And here we are, another show with no subs.
Yeah.
And I'm hungry. We're talking food.
I made plenty of subs today. I'm back in the trenches.
But you did make any eggs.
Right.
I didn't bring any.
Some things never change, even in the new year.
One, that's for sure. So, big shout out to my cousin who started working with me today.
Yeah.
So, talk about couch to 5K. I put him to work.
Yeah, good. Good.
I'm looking forward to it. It's my first cousin. He's 6 years older than me. So we grew up together. I mean, who are your best friends growing up, right?
That's right, your cousins.
And we have the same outlook, I guess is the nice way.
So he made it a whole day?
He made it a whole day.
Yeah.
There's
That's
bets
awesome.
against us, though. I heard my other cousins are talking smack.
Oh, yeah.
How long is he going to make it with Peter?
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
But yeah.
So I will wait and
We'll
see.
see. Well, family's fun.
I already told him. I said, look, we're going to argue.
Yeah.
Just shut up and know I'm right.
Yeah.
Because
I come up in family business too, right? It's just ministry.
Right.
And so all the while we've, father, son, mother, brother, sister, daughter, so I've had all of them work with me, and some have worked really well, and some have just.
It's a little precarious sometimes.
It can be. I can't tell you how many times I quit the job under my dad.
Right.
I mean, I would go, forget this, I'm out of here, And so.
Well, that's just part of the experience.
Yes.
Family business.
Yep.
And, whatever it is, ministry is.
I told my daughter I'm going to, we're going to go back and watch The Godfather so she can see what it's like to be raised in ministry.
Oh, Lord. I mean, every family has that aspect. Now, there were I don't know if you remember Mr. Pete from downtown.
Yes.
So he saw The Godfather in 1970, whatever, and he thought he was The Godfather from then on out. He was always, in a comedic kind of way, he was always just trying to be up to some no good.
Yeah.
Just my boy. Anyway.
He gets a pass.
I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah. He'd find a deal. I don't know. It just came off a truck. Come on. It's my brother's godfather for crying out loud too. It wasn't like I wasn't related to the guy, but okay. So we talked about the wildfires a little bit. I mean, it's not our backyard, but still,
it's my son's backyard.
It is your son's backyard, and there is some flack too that I think the federal government is getting because we still have people in the mountains of North Carolina
in tents.
living in tents, and we've had some extreme cold come through here the last few weeks.
I heard that FEMA was pulling houses out of there.
Who was?
FEMA
was pulling houses out. They put the portable houses. Yeah,
really.
That's what I heard today.
Them out.
Wow.
Well,
we got white flag event. I mean, that's the frost, right?
Yeah.
And that and you're going to say, all right, you're out.
I feel like our government has failed Western North Carolina, and then you have all the. So Jamie Lee Curtis. Let me just point this out. This celebrity numbnut. I mean, or lunatic, I guess. Whatever. She compared the devastation of the fires to that of Gaza.
Yeah. No.
Can you be any more tone deaf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so
I get it sucks.
Yeah.
But go to your other house
Yeah, that's
or your
that's
other
just
3
it.
houses.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think
it's kind of like John Chris does a thing, and he's like, "Hey, you know, my neighbor asked me to pray for him because a hurricane's coming. He's got a $3 million house, and you know, he wants God to protect it." And it's like, wait,
yeah, what?
Wait.
I mean,
you got a $3 million. You got a $10 million. You got that kind of money. There are people who, are eating dirt
God
right
will
now.
protect and provide.
Yeah.
Okay, but He also wants you to look at what you have. I'm thinking I'm stepping in right now for him, so maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, I'm thinking he wants you to also appreciate what you have and not say stupid things.
You know, that's one of my new disciplines this year.
What is it?
Not say stupid things?
No. Well, I try to do that, but that's near to impossible. But to spend 5 or 10 minutes a day thinking of things to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
wife, kids. And even, it was funny because, you know, I mentioned the board meeting on my way here.
Yep.
And I'm driving up the road and I'm like, thank you, Lord, that you've given me the opportunity to face these challenges, these difficulties. Because I may not have been given those opportunities.
Right.
You know, I may not have that.
And I don't want to
So
call
what
you out.
you really saying was, "Thank you, Lord, for getting me out of that board meeting."
See, that's the thing. I didn't want to call the pastor out on it. I did want to say, was there at least a couple of moments where you're like, "Good Lord Almighty,
Please get me out of here." I never thought I'd love Peter so much.
hey, everybody loves a little." Never mind. Okay, so
Oh my God.
yeah. See, I didn't go there because I have the governor. Semone governs how bad I can, get
how
on
far
air, especially
reach the red.
You know,
Yeah.
so I get that earnest look of disapproval. Sometimes, and I live for those moments.
I
You
know,
just get the
I
head
know.
shake. The head shake.
Yes,
It's like,
yes. So, y'all want to talk about City of Fayetteville first? You want to talk about Cumberland County Schools? I know, Brian, you love some schools.
yeah, let's talk about that because
So, did anybody catch the really exciting school board meeting? It lasted 5.5 hours on January 7th.
Goodness.
So, whoever was running for school board and didn't make it, be thankful because
Yeah.
a 5.5 hour meeting is
that's a 5.5 hour board meeting, right? Like I just
Yeah.
left a 45-minute one, and I'm, so.
I mean, well, it's presentations and there's awards, but so let's talk about this capital improvement thing.
Okay.
When I was running for office back, 3 months ago now,
Yep.
2 months. At that time, I learned as a commissioner candidate that the Cumberland County Schools needed $500 million to fix the air conditions, just to bring.
Yeah.
And I broke it down. They have 86 campuses. Yes, there's 86 campuses for Cumberland County throughout the whole county, whether it's an elementary, high school, or a. They even included the maintenance facilities.
Yep,
So
yep,
there's
yep.
86 properties that they got.
And that includes probably charter schools too, I would
everything.
imagine.
Yeah. So anything under their umbrella. So come to find out, January 7th, the consultant that they hired to come do an inventory of everything around the school system. No, it's not $500 million. It's $805,794,732.
Is this the same consultant?
I don't know. You know what?
Because that would be interesting.
That is
because
a good question.
it's like, wait a minute.
It's like,
dude,
did you miss something?
Yeah, I mean,
well, so what I do know, I'm not sure if it's the same consultant, but I do know the last inventory was done either pre or mid Corona.
okay.
So it's been 2 or 3 years.
yeah. So
But
$3 million.
You're
bucks,
talking
so,
about $800 million from $500 million.
Inflation.
with 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean,
That's inflation,
What is
Mark.
that? A 60%
Yeah,
increase?
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
300
crazy.
million. So anyway, so if anybody's curious enough, and I'm going to put the video on our Facebook, at the 10-minute mark is when the consultant begins his presentation.
Okay.
And I watched until the 60-minute mark, and then I had a life and other things to go to.
Yeah.
But that pretty well encompassed his thing, and there were a couple of takeaways that he pointed out.
While you're looking at that, Peter, let me just
Go ahead.
remind our listeners that the government does not have any money of its own. The school board doesn't have any money of its own. They are utilizing our money.
Right.
That you're not talking about.
No.
They're not Daddy Warbucks
It's-
who's got $100 billion.
yeah.
No, they don't. That money that they are talking about using, those are our
Yes.
tax dollars. That's our money. That's
Yeah.
our work.
It's our tap.
You
So
know?
let me point something out, too, about the meeting. The video shows the entire room and the spectators and all. I think there were 3 people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, correct. If you watch the video and you find more, correct me. But so that's telling me how interested are we as as citizenry, as community, in caring where our money goes.
But who can sit through a 5-hour meeting? I mean, come on.
I mean,
can you imagine being in that audience?
I've been in that audience before.
For 5 hours?
No.
Right.
You know,
I popped smoke and got out of there. But okay, so this is what I was We've discussed before in elections and politics, we need citizen engagement.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's citizen education on the electoral process to begin with, or who's A, who's B, and who's better. But we have to also participate in the process. And that to me is why I named directly the people that I didn't see.
Yeah.
Okay. I promise you this, we're inviting all of those people I saw in that meeting back to the cabinet.
Yeah, to have
because we need to discuss with them what their plan is with this, because there was a lot of this, well, send me the presentation BS. No.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way this consultant prioritizes repairs is priority 1 through 4. Priority 1 being currently critical and immediate. We got to fix this stuff. You can you can take a breath. It's only $923,000.
Okay, so the first $1 gone.
Yeah, but that takes care of the critical safety hazard, an air condition that's broken, something like that. But now here's where the real money comes.
Yeah.
So priority 2 and 3, between the two of those, is $300 million.
Okay.
So priority 2 would be stuff within a year, stuff that's going to break, sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, or there's a bigger safety hazard. And priority 3, so that's the other $200 million of that part, requires attention and planning. So these are things that are probably really big, major systems of the buildings. And one thing that was pointed out, somebody says, well, Jack Britt's new. Does everybody feel that Jack Britt is new?
No,
it's I mean,
I know, but think about it. It was built in 99.
Yeah.
So it's 25 years old.
Yeah.
That's not new.
So let me give you an example. So our sanctuary was built the same year.
Right.
And that's when and you're talking about, $20,000, $30,000 to replace one 12, 15-ton unit. So you're talking, and those units, I mean, after, you're good if you got 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, you're good if you get that amount of time. But when you think of that being a new school, it's not really
It's
new
not
facility.
new anymore.
It's
No.
not a new facility.
Not at all. And that was some of the board members. I think one of the newly electeds was like, well, isn't it new?
Yeah. No.
In your mind it is.
Yeah.
Well, so our station owner was in here earlier, and we were discussing they had acquired under Andrew Lonis Media another station up in Baltimore. And I said, well, what was the format? He says it was oldies. I said, what, 90s?
Yeah.
Because, you think like 30 years ago, if you and I think 30 years ago, we're thinking 1970.
Yeah.
1960.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not.
And he's like, well, they're not playing Nirvana yet, but they're playing some 80s music on the oldies station.
On the oldies station. But we think of oldies being 60s.
Exactly. So our perception is driving, well, that's a new school.
Yeah.
And it's not. Yep. It's 25 years old. It's about ready to have arthritis.
Yeah.
So with some of those immediate repairs, wouldn't that already be part of the budget for what they take care of annually? Like, say if school was out, like during the period during summer or when they don't have a lot of traffic.
Yeah, don't they budget for
every year
maintenance items?
Why is it reserved for this critical moment?
Well, and I don't know that. So I don't know that government does that. I know, as you know, Peter, all personal business owners, I've got to put into my annual budget.
Yeah.
Hey, I know that I'm going to have to spend $50,000, whatever, $100,000 to replace and repair whatever. I mean, put a name on it, right? But
or maintenance.
Maintenance, yeah. You're going to have to replace a toilet.
I don't put it in. I just fly by the seat of my pants and hope I can cover it. So I will tell you, Monday
we need to sit down and have a business meeting, you and I, because I've got some advice.
Last Monday was pretty harrowing. We had an ice maker break, and then I had a water heater out and clogged drain lines. Ooh. And the water heater quote was $6,500.
Yeah.
The ice maker was $7,200. Yeah. And I told the guy, well, just do the pipes, undo those first, because I might not have enough money to pay you for the water heater.
Offline, we need to talk about budgets, you and I. We need to talk about annual budgets, you and me. Planning, vision, and annual budgets. If you can give me a
steady stream of subselling, that's the problem.
You're telling me I'm a pastor, man. Tithes and offerings.
Are you good with uneven cash flows? Is that?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying uneven tax or cash flows are my expertise.
Uneven cash flows. Yes. So, all right. So, anybody want to weigh in on the school thing? I mean, I was very shocked. To see the increase from 3 to 5, or I'm sorry, from 5 to 800 million.
I agree with that, and I think that our Board of Education, they owe it to us to scrutinize this and hold the consultant to account. You know, I'm not saying that those, if it's for the children, if it's a just cause, yes. But show me some line items.
But this is so wide open.
Exactly.
Right. It's so like, okay, what are you fixing?
Yeah.
We got a plan. I mean, where is building a new school in here?
Yeah, we got a plan to fix something because something's going to go wrong.
I mean, we got 100-year-old elementary schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and I will. So if you watch the video, the consultant says, "Look, those 100-year-old schools, they're good."
Yeah.
Because the structure is so solid.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
called them a mausoleum, but he said they're so well built, you can replace the systems inside of them. You're good.
Yeah.
and I agree with that.
But the schools that were built in the 60s, he stopped short of saying garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he said, look, they were just constructed differently.
Yeah.
Because
that's the way we put it.
we had baby boomers, and we needed to throw those schools up quickly, and it's a different construction, cheaper, whatever. You know, they took time back in the 1900s.
No, I agree with that. I mean,
know.
you look at the different schools, right? In a school that's 100 years old, that's almost like it's a 100-year-old church. It's a work of art.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Whereas the other ones, like
They
you
were
said.
just slapped up.
Well,
So,
me
go
and
ahead,
Simone do. I mean, we're in the real estate world. I mean, one thing that bothers me, especially when I was running for school board, was going around to these different schools and how bad they look outside.
Yeah.
How much is that going to cost?
Yep.
Not that much.
Yeah.
I mean, go back to what we talked about, putting the trades in schools and had these kids doing some work.
That's
Have
it.
them do some work. Yeah,
You
right.
know, I mean, there's all kinds of things that Woodshop could be working on
Oh, man.
to make this room better or this office better, you know, but it's the common sense. They want to sit here and just give us money and we're just going to,
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
so
$800 million. I don't even know what I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
and I'm going to share
But I'm going
this.
to take my 10% off the top.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to share this on the Facebook as well. But so all those priority 1, 2, 3, 4, it does break down into $256 million just on appearance only, and that has to do with, let's see, it says deferred maintenance, something that's badly stained, soiled, warped, abused, vandalized, or otherwise unsightly. That's
Otherwise
a
unsightly.
quarter of $1 billion, $256 million. You will be happy to know that
On curb appeal.
Yeah,
Yes.
building code compliance.
I'm interested
Wait,
in this one.
get
I'm
ready.
interested in this one.
It's only 5,547. Wow. 5,547
5.
to bring the whatever is
Up
out
to
of
code.
compliance to bring it to code.
Again, I'm a commercial owner, man. You're going to tip 5,000? That what?
That still
What?
hurts. Yeah.
Sure, it does for me, but when you're talking $8 million,
So safety wise, we're $42 million. Is how they broke
Yeah.
it down to safety and system component integrity. So that's your roof, your HVAC,
Yeah.
that stuff. That's a big one, $325 million.
Yeah.
So there
and
are some
I
serious
honestly,
things.
that one I can see because I mean, somebody who's bought the roofs and the ACs, man, they don't give
Well,
them away and they're not cheap.
You can't not heat the classroom or cool the classroom.
Yep.
You got to give it an environment for them to learn.
Yep.
So it's not a choice to do these things. But so that is the largest, and I think that's reasonable that that's the
I agree.
largest because you have to take care of the children. Now, there is one line item that I may not agree with: conservation opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know about all this. So it's described as items that are in need of repair or replacement and provide an opportunity to improve the effectiveness of energy or water use. But and this is where I disagree with it. That would cost $172 million. So I'd like to know with the $170 million, can we save $200 million in the next 10 years?
Yeah.
I will say this now.
Go ahead.
We could take $13 million of it and we could turf every high school football field.
Okay.
All right.
And with that system comes a under the ground tank system that will irrigate the rest of the school and help with flushing the toilets. And that's only at a small price of $12 million.
Oh.
And that's every high school.
Every high
Okay.
school.
And then
Wow.
that cuts out all the yard maintenance of
Yeah.
the fields, gives every school that
So you put artificial grass that underneath of it has storm
it
catcher?
has holding tanks. It collects all the rainwater.
Yep.
Okay.
It just goes straight through the grass. I mean,
But
because
see,
it
now,
feeds the grass, it goes through, and then it collects.
I'm
and
not
you-
making big money to do this, and I could come up with that at a small price of.
Brian, you should run for Board of Ed, man.
You know what? I think I might do
I
that.
think they could really use
I
you.
think I might do that.
Yeah, where you been all our life, Brian?
Right.
So, well, we do have an at-large election coming up. So,
We do.
I did run into, so I had the Government Relations Committee meeting last week. We had the reception, and all the newly electeds and the incumbents came, and some of the school board people, like Tara Jordan, was there.
Yeah.
And, she beat my friend Nate Warfel.
Yep.
And I told her, I said, she says, I know you talk smack about me. I said, I did.
Yeah.
I said, not to back away. I said, but I told you I will support you at large, or I said, your stuff. I said, out of all the people running, what bothered me the most is you're running against my friend, and he was the only other one that I believed in.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian, sorry, Brian.
It's okay.
You know what?
I got it, Peter.
He says things wrong.
Hey, Pastor, keep pull that out of my
I know. Was that Nate?
Et brute? Et brute. So, sorry. You know what I mean.
It's okay, though.
Damn it.
I got it.
Okay.
I'm going to Subway with
all right. I'll take that. Yeah.
Jimmy John's.
Well, I'm not the friend to put on speaker, and I'm definitely sometimes say before I think.
Wow.
I think my dad would agree with you.
He says sometimes.
Okay, so Brian, I still love you, man, but
okay.
my bad. Okay, so you want to beat the schools up a little bit more? What else we got?
Is clean water in there somewhere?
Clean water?
Yeah.
Not from the schools' perspective, no.
Okay.
So they just run in regular tap
dirty water.
So there was an article in City. I did not research that enough before the show today, but there was comedically an article in City View that came out a few days ago that it interviewed all the state representatives, your former opponent, Charles Smith, and now newly elected Mike Colvin. But I like how they say Mike Colvin, a Democrat. Val Applewhite, I don't know if they were trying to say something and see a pattern there, but they all spoke well about PFAS and the rest. But the reality is,
they voted against
some people have been there and haven't done a darn thing.
Yeah.
So I want to dig into the PFAS thing in the next show because I wasn't prepared for it today.
Gotcha.
But it's lip
what is
service.
PFAS? What is that? What is that?
Perfluoral, forever chemicals.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Perfluoral, anal,
Poison in our water.
Yeah,
Poison.
that's all you got to say.
It's
The
stuff
forever
we don't need to
chemicals.
drink.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that. So
or shower in, or anything else for that matter.
Or shower,
Yeah.
or wash hands. So
Yeah.
So brings us to City Council.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
these guys, I don't know what these guys are thinking. So
Peter, have you announced yet?
have I now? No, Peter is not running for City Council.
I thought you getting married. I thought there was something I didn't know. No.
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 But if I do, I'll let you officiate.
Good.
And I'll make sure you tell her the obey part a few times. Yeah. So I really did. Again, I did enjoy
probably need to
Christina's
check
wedding.
that.
Oh, thank you.
You
Yeah.
probably need to check that app that girls can post when you're
Yes.
dating multiple.
Yeah.
I wonder if Peter's
He,
name's on
he's
there.
been in it.
I've
He's
been in
in
there
it.
twice.
Yeah.
there
I'm
you
part
go.
of that group. I am.
What?
Are
Not
we
all
dating
there,
the same
smoke.
guy? It's
Listen,
a group. Yeah.
I told a woman this on a dating app the other day. I said, it's tough out there for a G.
Oh,
There is too.
my goodness.
Well, because,
Was that a grand?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a talent.
We all know that's a whole other show by itself,
Yeah.
Brian. I think we got plenty to talk about after show. But okay, so Fayetteville City Council,
Let me just say this to the Board of Ed one more time.
Okay.
Make sure you look into the stuff the consultant's saying, line by line. Check it out for your taxpayers, for your voters.
Please.
Get it done.
And furthermore, I don't know what they are going to do to fund it.
Yeah.
And I will learn more about it. But at the time running for office, it was my word to them was send us a budget we can vote on. Get your stuff together and ask for what you need.
Yeah.
But I think the only way to get that kind of money, Semone, you proved me wrong, is a bond. I don't think they'd be able to squeeze a budget.
They paid somebody to put this together.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is
Big.
this is the craziest.
They paid.
Well,
There's
look-
nothing here.
But look how they mismanaged our money to begin with. Do you want them doing their own report?
Oh.
Like,
Well, one thing about when they put these things together, they put in everything. So there are certain things that don't even need to be.
the
addressed.
consultant even mentioned that there were certain things on the list that probably have been fixed by now.
What?
Well, he says, look, it's okay. It's like an appraisal. Appraisal's good
Oh.
for the day you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a snapshot. And their report, likewise, was a snapshot of
That's fair.
Yeah.
here's that. So
Well, I hope they adjust the total then. I mean,
they
because
will
that
eventually,
could be
but
like
I mean,
200 million.
maybe they'll trim $3 million off of it, but you're still at 800.
It's insane.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it's a rounding error what they probably did.
Yeah.
So school board, please dig into this and
Yeah, look into it.
because we're watching.
Yep.
And you get elected another 3.5 years.
Yep.
And we have at large coming.
Yes.
In 26, right?
26, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Back to city council. So we have 2 councilmen that opposed, or that voted for, what they call a sentinel review. So when the police have an accidental shoot or have a shooting, don't want to call it accidental. The Office of Community Safety has been funded, but we don't have a director yet. So we have all this money sitting in a bucket in the city budget, but no leader. So Councilmen Benavente and Hondros voted to allow sentinel reviews, which would they're trying to give OCS.
Let me just back up, because you're telling me that committee's been put together and they don't have somebody to. I mean, that was what, 5 years ago,
and I think they got $3 million or something
$2 or
to that
$3 million.
effect.
So basically, the money's sitting there, but nobody wants the job.
Well, I don't blame them for that, because I would be like, hey, no.
It's 2 things. Still. They can't find. So the last that I brought this up in like a social circle or whatever, it was more, they don't have anybody for the job, but they also haven't defined what the job is.
Right.
So it's like, well, come work for us. Well, what do I need to do? I don't know.
But I think from what I've heard about it, it's almost like a self-defining job, because you are almost
creating your path.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it works, then you're good to go, right? If what you're doing is making change, good. And then if you don't, then but there's not going to. I don't feel like there's ever going to be like a job description, a line-by-line job description. It's going to be like, hey, if what you're doing works, there's a positive effect, then you're going to have, we'll have your back.
Did you ever go to any of the OCS meetings, Simone? Like through the
early
campaign
on.
time, or
no, not during the
there
campaign.
was one.
I was invited to be a part of it, but I just
there was one meeting at FSU, and it was a whole panel of
I did go to
health
that
department, and it was pretty early on in the campaign. See, it was like maybe February.
Yeah,
like
I would.
There were council people. It was the council. It was some county commissioners. My opponent was absent. I remember that. I took a picture of an empty seat. I was like, probably better she's not here. And if you're listening, still love you, baby.
Oh, my gosh.
So anyway, so there were stakeholders there, and they were discussing, like the health department wanted a piece of it. They were trying to put gun safety as a mental health issue.
Yeah.
Or they were trying to do some DEI.
Well, that's the thing. It's so vague, right?
Broad,
and it's so broad and so vague, and that's why I think anybody who takes a job is going to have to describe what it is and then what success is going to.
They're going to have to narrow it down to like these 5 things.
Yes, yeah.
And part of the push of OCS, Office of Community Safety, is send a social worker to respond to a call instead of a cop, which I think is completely bonkers.
Yeah.
You don't want an unarmed 25-year-old social worker going to respond to a homeless guy with a knife.
Yep.
Because you need to de-escalate the situation.
Yes.
He needs to be tased and restrained, and then we can.
I can tell you, like in my experience, a few months ago, had an experience where a guy came beaten on the side of my church window. My son was. Like I said, it's family business, right? So he was inside doing work, and it turns out, the guy's like beat up and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And this sent an officer out, and Fay PD did a great job of. I watch this guy work because it's what I do, and I'm watching him do his thing, and he did a spectacular job of de-escalation, not causing the. He could have very easily caused the situation or allowed the situation with this kid, allowed the situation to get out of hand. I think he did as well or better than any social worker could have done.
And we have police that do a good job here. We still are shorthanded.
Yes.
We don't pay these guys enough.
No.
That is nationwide. End of story.
Right.
Did the police officer that responded, if you remember, did he seem to know the person?
Absolutely.
Was it kind of like a regular?
He did. Yes. Yeah, he did. And he knew, so he had information on the situation. There was a knife involved and, an assault and all these things that I had no idea about. And he's coming up, hey, man, how you doing? And, what's going on? Well, where's the knife at? He's pulling stuff out of this kid about the story that I had. I didn't know there was assault, a knife. I didn't know any of these things. So, like I said, he did a great job.
I think, like in a lot of industries, in the restaurant, we have our regular customers, and the police have the same ones.
Yes.
And that's what community policing looks like.
Yep,
is knowing the people. That's why I even made the question of that manner. Did the cop know him?
Yeah.
And that means that policeman's been in that area.
Yep.
He's been now you're going to be in a new area once in a while and maybe not know all the players, but when I've called them for Fort Bragg Road for a dude sleeping on my front bench, I rolled up one morning to open and this dude just like sleeping.
Bro, that's everywhere in Fayetteville, man.
I'm like, what?
The bench outside Captain Jerry's, we were talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
A couple times a week there's a guy out there.
Look, I don't want to be in their situation. One thing about all this stuff, for better or worse, we're a Christian nation. Whether you want to argue that point or not, we are. And I think a lot of times where I might have friction with the homeless population or whatever is that sometimes I feel I'm being taken advantage of because I'm trying to do the right Christian thing for somebody and help them out, give them a meal, and it seems a little bit like I'm being duped sometimes. And that makes me angry. Yep. Not just because
I don't like to feel used.
Yes.
I don't like to feel used.
Like I want to give somebody a meal. Mm-hmm. I don't want to not help somebody. Yeah. Okay, so
where did that vote end? Was that it? Just two in favor?
It was 2 in favor, 8 against. So definitely Benavente and Hondros were in the minority of people that wanted it. Now it was 7-3 vote back in June to at least discuss it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But basically, I think what you have is an activist council member in Benavente that he's just looking to get his name in the paper, and he wants to put OCS and have some teeth because he's trying to backdoor authority in something that doesn't need to have authority.
I wonder if he'd consider being the director.
I think we should ask him that when we ask him on the show.
Just say, hey,
I guess after he runs for mayor?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Well, is he putting his head in for mayor?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, he needs to probably resign.
I heard.
He needs to resign his council position right now because he doesn't live in his district.
Really?
No, he does not live. He got married and moved. So all the people that voted for him in that district now really truly don't have a councilman. And not enough has been said about that. So we'll start it right here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's what we need to be doing is calling.
How does that work legally? Do you so if say for example I run for mayor of Fayetteville, and then I move to Spring Lake, do I have to?
You're supposed to live in the city in the district which you run.
Isn't that what they were getting Johnny Dawkins for?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
they were.
The difference is Johnny
still had a house here.
Yeah, he did,
and I think that's
so does Mario.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the issue with Johnny is that he ran for District 5 when he didn't, when it was alleged that he didn't live there.
Right.
So it'd be different if Mario ran for District 3 after it being alleged that he's moved. Then it would be apples to apples.
Right.
But right now, I mean, if you move in the middle, I don't know the rules, but if you move in the middle of your term, we don't know how long you have to give.
And,
we don't know.
It was brought up when Dawkins got called out for all that, and there really is no enforcement mechanism. That's one thing I did find out from the Board of Elections. They really, because Johnny was a friend or is a friend.
Oh, I love Johnny. My dad and his dad were way back.
So I was like, I want to get to the bottom of this, and I know some people at the board. I'm like, look, what is the rule? And they're like, well, there isn't one.
Okay.
Wow.
It goes down to what's right, what's wrong. Just because, what is the difference? Just because it's ethically right doesn't mean it's morally right, or whatever. So there's just different thresholds of right and wrong.
Yeah.
And I would think that if I voted for a councilman, that he's, in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But, but who am I?
Yeah. You're Peter Pappas.
I'm just a sandwich maker.
You're the sandwich king.
What do I know? So,
no, you're not a sandwich maker, dude. Let me just say you're royalty, okay? You're the sandwich king.
I got my apron in the car.
I know some guys may call you a sandwich maker, but you're the sandwich king.
Hey, you know what? It takes all kinds, and somewhere a village is missing its idiot. So but So, all right. So we covered that a little bit. I mean, we can always dig into that more, but it's really not much to it. It's just that they voted, two activist councilmen are voting for it, 8 people voted against it.
So you brought something really interesting to me tonight, because my question before that was, well, why would, if these two guys know that they're going to get shot down, why would they put forth a vote that they knew that they were going to lose? But I think publicity, is...
I think at this point in the soon-to-be election cycle, there's perceived merit for them to I mean, certainly this is speaking to Mario's base.
Sure.
And
yes.
remember, Mario didn't win his seat by a huge margin. I think it was six votes.
6 votes, yeah.
Where Councilman Antonio Jones, did not ask for I don't think he asked for a recount.
I don't recall.
On 6 votes?
Yeah.
I would have.
Yeah.
I mean, it should.
Yeah.
And again, nothing's automatic. You do have to request it. But I think Antonio was appointed
He was appointed, yeah.
for the remainder of a term from who?
Tisha Waddell.
Yeah,
Tisha
Tisha
Waddell,
Waddell, who's been on this show before.
Yeah.
Great
And
girl. Love her.
I do
she-
too.
Yeah.
So he served well, and then you had Mario, very activist, young blood, whatever, which we like the fire, but I just didn't want him to be left of Lenin.
Yeah.
So
And the thing was, he wouldn't mind you saying it.
no, I don't think he would. And I like Mario. I know him in
yeah.
different circles, whatever else, but the politics, I don't.
Yeah.
My father would tell somebody, I like you as a person, but when it comes to business, I hate your guts.
Yeah.
It sounded funnier when he said it.
Yeah.
But
He's speaking in
But
the
I like that distinction, though, because we know so many political people, and I know, actually, most of the people I know politicians are Democrat or unaffiliated, but mostly Democrat, and I like them, but it's certain
I
policies.
seem to have the most fun with people of the opposite side.
I think we should all just be open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
just talk. Just
have a conversation. You don't have to always agree. And in fact, it's better not to agree.
As long as they can take a joke, like during the campaign, I was like, hey, don't you Democrats have a couple of boxes extra ballots or something later? Isn't that what you're supposed to? Come on,
In your favor.
Find me 180 ballots. Come on.
Right.
Surely
Well,
you got
that's the thing. You got to be able to fire back with it. Come on, give me something to work with here. Let's. I'm
now,
not,
some I can't get down with, obviously, but
I mean, I knew there wasn't a box, but
well, of course,
if there was,
I didn't mean
hey,
it that way. I'm just saying.
well, the
some
thing
people
is,
I don't
we've talked about it here before. We don't all agree
on
our politics.
No.
We have some very different beliefs when it comes to politics
or life choices, Peter.
Life choices. Even like being a Republican, being a conservative.
Right.
There are some individuals
that are not mutually exclusive.
They're
you
not.
can be a conservative Democrat too.
Yep.
Yes.
And people ask me, they're like, "Well, how? And I'm a conservative. Why would you want to remain a Republican? When so many are going middle ground." And I'm like, because I believe in my party. And I believe that I believe we can do better. And so I'm willing to be critical and say, hey, this and this and this and this. Yeah. I have issues with that.
And eyes are opening. I mean, look who's at Mar-a-Lago today.
Yes. Yep.
Fetterman.
Yep.
Fetterman's changing the game in D.C.
Yes. Well, he's going to be the Pope of Greenland, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is that what they
Is Greenland what Trump is going to make part of the United States?
I don't know what is going on with
in the Gulf of America,
Canada.
Yeah.
Okay,
Canada.
so the Gulf of America thing. Do you really think that's a low level troll? Because Biden has just done all this stuff about drilling off the coast. In the Gulf of Mexico, but do you think maybe that's where that motivation came from Trump to say, well, we'll just rename it?
Yeah, the Gulf of America.
And what if it comes down to something that simple to get around all those laws?
Well, it's so funny, right? Because you stop and you consider that, and people get up in arms about, well, you can't rename this, and you can't do this. It's done all over the world every day.
It didn't have a name when we found it.
No,
I mean,
Trump said he's going to change it back to Fort Bragg. You know they haven't thrown those signs away.
No, they're stickers. They just put labels on top of it. So we can just peel them back. But the whole thing with the base naming, I'm like, at this point, look, just move on.
Yeah.
There's other low hanging fruit.
Again, my conservatism is. I wasn't in agreement with spending the $9 million to begin with.
That part.
I'm not in favor. There's so many other things we could do with that kind
I agree.
of money.
I agree. Well, I think it was $6 or $9 million.
It was.
We had retired Lieutenant Colonel Christensen.
Yes.
Christian Sorensen on here, and he was talking about the psychological.
Yep.
The psych warfare.
Yes.
Really. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. And how many times are society susceptible to propaganda? Mm-hmm. We are so susceptible, and left, right, it doesn't matter. I think any extremist has just started drinking the Kool-Aid, and they are totally into whatever their person is propagating and giving that propaganda. And so
even when it doesn't make sense.
Yes, and a lot of times especially when it doesn't make
Right.
sense. It's like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Yes, that's got to be the truth then.
Right.
The tinfoil hat scenario.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you
Yes.
need a tinfoil hat? Cool.
Yep.
You know, that's, well, how many times have you heard me say it? You know, we used to think X-Files was fiction.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like, maybe there is something to
There,
it.
there could be. Fringe,
Yeah.
you know.
Who wants to be the smoking man, though?
Yeah.
Which one of y'all? You know, yeah. What was I watching the other day? Oh, Dexter, New Blood.
Oh.
Or Original Blood. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know,
something,
whatever.
yeah,
whatever. The origin story.
My sister's so into Dexter.
One thing I noticed was everybody smokes.
Really? Well, that's you,
Like,
you,
you
so-
know.
and that's funny. So you mentioned that, but you watch old movies. Everybody smokes. You go out of the United States, everybody smokes.
Oh, yeah.
In China,
Yeah.
I mean, like 8 out of 10 people smoke. It's crazy. Italy, I mean, it's just it is. But and again, I'm not saying go out and buy a pack of cigarettes and smoke. What I'm saying is the difference in mentality,
Right.
perspective, and propaganda.
Well,
And they
see-
probably don't have all the stuff on the tobacco that
They
we
probably
have.
don't. But think about low-level, long-term planning from like Philip Morris and all those other companies in the 90s when all those lawsuits and all those not Supreme Court, but the Capitol Hill hearings about
Yep.
the poison they put in. And they were just like, yeah, we'll spend money on advertising against ourselves
Right.
because they knew China and the other developing
yep.
markets were going to be like chimneys. They're
Yep.
like, yeah, the heck with you American markets. We'll just sell to these guys.
Put it out.
Isn't China the healthiest though?
No.
And they're smoking? No.
I doubt it.
I don't think
Oh,
so.
I thought
No,
I
China-
saw a
see,
stat about that.
The thing about the
Probably
world,
Japan but
Yeah.
Oh, right, right.
Well, but the thing about like the world, like carbon emissions and all that crap, like they come to us to spend
Yeah.
money. The Kyoto Accords or whatever it was.
Yeah, Kyoto
They
Accords.
they want us to ratchet down on what we send out. And it's like, hey, China's over there dumping toxic waste in the ocean. Nobody's stopping them.
Yeah.
But they want
Creating
us to pay
COVID.
for it. Yeah, yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, hopefully they won't do a gain of function research on
Yeah.
the bird flu coming
Yeah.
out soon.
Yeah.
Anybody seen that lately?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting on that. So, guys, we are, let's see if I can do this right now.
Dun, dun.
Ooh,
Ooh, nice outro.
nice, huh? Well, guys, our 60 minutes is up, and let's see if it doesn't overtake me. So,
Dun, dun.
it's kind of loud. I like that. Okay.
We got new jams, y'all.
We do. We got new jams, so we won't get
New
kicked off of
jams.
YouTube anymore. So, well, to everybody, thanks for joining us today. I want to say a special thank you to Bryan Moore, Pastor Josh,
Yes, sir.
Simone,
Thank you, Mr.
Ernest,
Peter.
Simone E with the Pemberton.
Oh, my.
Simone with an E, Pemberton.
Simone with an E,
Whatever.
yeah.
You know what? I'm done. All right. So somehow, please check us out on Facebook. Type in The Carolina Cabinet or find our new website, thecarolinacabinet.com. But make sure you type the
B. T-H-E.
else you get some great made in North Carolina cabinets.
Yes.
So until next time, we are
The
Carolina Cabinet.